What's poppin', people? It's Xzavier Antonio, and we are here for another episode of the In Conversation podcast. I'm happy to be in the building with somebody who I consider a long-time acquaintance. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Christine Watson.
Yes. Hey, thank you for having me. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Thank you for being with us today. We know that you are one who might be hard to get up with because you are managing just so much going on in your life.
Yeah, I definitely stay busy.
Absolutely. So for those who don't know, I was actually introduced to Miss Christine through poetry. She's a poet. But then I found out she was a model as well. So we're talking at least 5-6 years ago, something like that. Maybe 3 or 4 when we met.
It's been like 4.
Yeah, it's been like 4 when we met.
Yeah.
And you know, I know some things going on in your life at that time, or some hurdles, health-wise, that you were getting over at that time.
Yeah.
And you kind of like hit the ground running with a lot of businesses and entrepreneurial type of things. So, how can you explain to us how you got into entrepreneurship?
Well, entrepreneurship actually first started for me with Mary Kay. Which, for those who don't know, is a makeup line. I've been wearing Mary Kay since I was 14. My aunt introduced me to that, and then that was just kind of the segue for me into selling it. I met someone up here in Milwaukee when I first moved up here who reintroduced me to Mary Kay, and I was like, oh yeah, I've been wearing that all the time. Let me go ahead and step my foot into it. So that's kind of how I got started with being an entrepreneur, and then it just kind of took off from there. Was
that like before we met, like back in the day?
Yeah, that was way before we met.
Okay.
Way before.
So that's kind of how you got into it. Can you explain to us, like, what was maybe the motivation to become an entrepreneur?
The fact that I have a lot of kids, to be honest.
Oh yeah, we need some more money around here. This ain't gonna do.
Yeah, you know, it's like I need a stream of income for every kid that I got so I can, you know, sustain everything. So that, and just the fact that I like money. Who don't like money?
Right, absolutely. I think that when we take a look, like back in the day, or at least like looking at the movies and stuff like that, there were parents whose focus was get a job, you know, get a house, and, you know, try to get your kids the best education. But I think now that the expectation for those of us whose parents are a little bit higher, and not necessarily because the kids are demanding more. I mean, who doesn't want more? You know what I'm saying? But I think just because of where we at, and we just want more for our kids. We want a better future for our kids. We want to make sure they not only get the education that they need, but that they want for nothing. So on top of feeding them, we're trying to provide a better future and a lifestyle, better option for them, stuff like that. So we put more, or we're putting more of a demand on ourselves to be better and better. And so even with the 2 kids that I got, it's like, I could, you know, a job and a house would be all right, but no, I'm trying to be rich because I'm trying to make sure they ain't got to worry about nothing. You know what I'm saying?
I don't want to just be rich. I want to be wealthy.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
Yeah, that's definitely a whole nother difference. So for those of you who don't know, she does have a couple different business ventures that she does. As a matter of fact, one of those things is some marketing stuff going on with travel marketing. I came to one of the sessions that you had did and stuff like that, so it really encouraged me to want to really get into that, and I still plan to.
You still waiting? Come on, come
on
in.
Yeah, you know, because I used to sell Kirby machines. I done sold some knives before and all that kind of stuff. So I'm definitely good at it. You know what I mean? So and who doesn't want to travel and all of the benefits that come with that? Right. But plus you have a clothing line.
I do.
Now, is the shoe design, the customizing shoes, is that a part of, like, under that?
It's a branch off of the clothing line. So the clothing line came first, and I established that in 2020 while I was still going through my process of cancer. So for those who don't know, like, I'm a cancer survivor, 5 years. And so that's kind of where the clothing line came from, the whole idea of the clothing line.
Just shout out to the fact that you're a whole cancer survivor. Woo, you know what I mean? The world needs more people like you. As we know, like disease is definitely, and these types of serious diagnosis is definitely affecting our community in just major ways. And so again, just shout out to you for your journey and your battle and your victory.
Thank you.
And just shout out to anybody else that may be watching that is either a survivor or on your way to your victory. And we're going to talk a little bit more about the clothing line, Push Through Apparel, and we're going to talk a little bit more about the customizing shoe, which the name of it again
Exquisite Custom Kicks.
Exquisite Custom Kicks. So y'all make sure that y'all remember those names. But before we get a little more to that part of the business, can you maybe tell us what some of the challenges have been as an entrepreneur for you?
I think one of the major challenges for me personally is just balancing home life, work life, kid life, business life, like trying to keep it all in balance, finding time to do this. Okay, I got to go work my 9 to 5, but then when I get off, I got to work my 5 to 9. But in between there, I got to be a mother. I got to do homework and I got to check in on the kids and make sure they good and then focus on my business. So a lot of the times I find myself going to my job, leaving my job, running my kids around to basketball practice, dance practice, soccer practice, football practice, whatever it may be. Getting done with that, getting home, cooking dinner, getting them in the bed, making sure they homework and stuff is done for the next day, and then working on my business afterwards. So just finding the time to get it all done. So
it's just like, I know people think that their life, everybody has something to balance and everybody has some type of struggle and you got to figure it out like with time management. And so shout out to the awesome mothers that are doing a great job, to the awesome parents, fathers and mothers that are doing an awesome job. But if you think your job is hard, you know what I'm saying? To try doing all of that, you know what I'm saying? Like Christine is doing, like try to do all of that and be a mother to more than one child at that, you know what I'm saying? So
I got a squad over here.
A whole squad. And regardless how, like, sometimes I know kids get a little older so they can be a little bit more independent and stuff like that, but still all 5 of those kids want something, need something, and can't do it by themselves.
And typically it's all at once. Soon as I walk in the door, mama this, mama that, ma this, and I be like, you know what, I'll be back.
So listen, that's why they say it takes a village to raise children, but it also takes a village to even be an entrepreneur these days. So I know we got Mother's Day, we got Father's Day. We need, and maybe Quarter House will do this. We'll do like a parent/entrepreneur day and try to get them to make it a federal federal holiday.
Start a petition
because we ought to be awarded for all this shit.
I'm with it.
Matter of fact, Balance Day. That's what it would be called. The fact that we have to, find balance and all of that. But the Exquisite Custom Kicks. We had a little dialogue about that behind the scenes, and I've seen some of the shoes, but not only the shoes, but some of the before and the after. And this woman is literally phenomenal at what she does. Now, first of all, the last pair of shoes that I saw, and I might have some footage of it, but the last pair of shoes that I saw, I didn't see the before first. I saw the after first. Okay. And, you know what I mean? And then I was like, well, did this part come like this? And he was like, oh no, let me show you these photos.
Right.
And so before, them shoes were horrible. You know what I mean? I mean, like, I buy stuff, worn out, and I'm horrible. I'm horrible with shoes. So like, soon as some Air Force Ones go bad, I'm like, whatever. Like them play shoes now, basketball shoes now, don't care, walking outside, you know what I'm saying, type of thing. And then they get thrown away. Right. But now that I've literally seen your work and how you do it, it's like, oh no, I get to keep everything now. And they don't always have to feel like it's the same shoe. So that's what's up with that. But it's also not just a great thing that you do professionally, but it also helps you with something. It's
a stress reliever for me, honestly. And I'll get in my zone and start working on the shoe, and I can knock one shoe out in a good maybe 4 to 5 hours if I'm sitting there and I'm uninterrupted. But it's a way for me to get away from the stresses of my children at home, or just stresses, period. Not just with them, but just in life. Like if I'm feeling overwhelmed with anything else, like I'll come and my creative side will take over, and that's how I digress, you know? So, I think we all definitely need that when we're trying to balance so much. Myself, I might like, I don't claim that I deal with anxiety, but sometimes
I do feel a little overwhelmed by things, and or I'm not excited about things. And so my go-to, and it's not even something that I can just do. It just kind of has to happen naturally. I have to have new ideas. I have to create something new. And so a lot of times the hard part is figuring out how all these things connect to each other. But when I spend all this time on something, figuring out an idea, figuring out a proposal or a plan, I get bored, and it's like, and I have to take a break from that. Like, do I need to create something else now? Right. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know if that makes me a creatoraholic or whatever, but it's something but that's the thing. That's my stress reliever. I have to, even if, whether it's me creating something new for myself or me creating something new, even for somebody else. Yeah. And so Exquisite Custom Kicks isn't the only business that you have. The travel marketing isn't the only business that you have, but you also have, and you're wearing the shirt there, established in 2020. Yes. Push Through Apparel. Yes. I just like the sound of it because I just think about all of the things that I have to push through. Yeah. And so maybe you could tell us a little bit the inspiration behind the name itself.
Yeah. So the name Push Through Apparel literally came from having to sit in the cancer center by myself for hours and get through it. I'm a single mother, like we stated before. Like, I'm a single mother of 5. I have 5 children that range from the age of 20 to 12. And just knowing that I'm all they got. So if I'm not good, they not good. And I literally had to overcome several obstacles, not just with myself, but with my children as well, because my children have their own health issues going on. So for me, that's kind of where it came from, just having to overcome all of those adversities and obstacles that I've been faced with. I literally have had to push through it. So that's where the brand was birthed. This is like my 6th baby. Definitely. Because if something has to be nurtured, you got to spend time getting to know it. Like, okay, I want this dream to do this, but this dream wants to do that. You know what I'm saying? And so sometimes you gotta like compromise with your dream. Like, all right, let's have a conversation, dream. Right. So we can figure out how to better nurture that. And so I definitely agree. You know, looking at it with in term of endearment, like this is a whole nother baby. This is something that you have to birth, and you have to push this dream through your struggles, through the things that you were dealing with by yourself. And I haven't dealt with cancer or anything like that, but I definitely had some scares, and I remember being in hospitals and doctor visits and all this other stuff, dealing with some stuff alone. So on top of having to deal with the health issue, sitting in that room alone had to be, hell, the mental battles, things that you go through in your head. But this is why our stories are important, and not just as entrepreneurs, but it's just as people. Being able to connect with other people. Many of us feel like we got to walk this path alone, and we shouldn't have to. And if we could just get that part right with sharing each other's stories and connecting that way, then I think we'll see a whole lot more success as parents with being taking a village to raise the children and all of that. But also think that we'll also see more success as entrepreneurs, because there's a saying that we often say here at Courtier House is push through it. There's something on the other side of this push, so appropriate,
and it's exactly and it's exactly what's been promised. So we just got to keep pushing through it. And so I think that each and every last one of us, as many of you that are listening, please support Miss Christine Watson. Remember, if you don't remember nothing else, because she got several businesses, for y'all to try to remember and keep up with. Push Through Apparel, Exquisite Custom Kicks, and then what is the actual name for the traveling stuff?
So my travel business is Exquisite Family Travel. So my brand is exquisite. Period. Because I'm a little extra. I'm a little over the top. I can be, a little, but I'm like everything I like to do, I like it to be top tier. So it's exquisite. So there is Exquisite Family Travel. The marketing business is a marketing side through Planet Marketing, which markets travel agencies. So I'm able to sell travel agencies. So I have my own. I'm a travel agency owner, which is the Exquisite Family Travel. I also own vending machines, which is Exquisite Vending.
I'm learning something new right now.
And I just started another business with my business partner Trish. Exquisite Divas.
Oh yeah, and so we got to make sure we talk about that before we get out of here as well. Is that Exquisite Divas is focusing on a lot of event planning? That's like one of the main things for it. And you guys have an event that's going to be coming up. Is that August 20th?
Yes, it's August 20th. It's going to be at the Renaissance Milwaukee West by Mayfair.
Oh yeah, so we ain't doing nothing, no little small time nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, so yeah, y'all know if y'all go out there to Mayfair, you gotta act right. So
yeah, tickets are on sale. They're 50% off right now, and we actually extended the sale from June 30th to July 15th.
Yeah.
So VIP and general admission are on sale. VIP is $30. General admission is $15.
Yeah, so we got to make sure that y'all stay in tune with Christine. Now, what is going to be the best way that people get in contact with you?
You can reach me on social media. So my Facebook is Christine Watson. My Instagram is Mrs. Changing My Ways. And that's a whole nother conversation. But you can reach me that way. You can reach me Exquisite Divas 2023 at gmail.com, or you can reach me pushthroughapparel at gmail.com via email. I'm accessible. I'm accessible if you need to get to me. It might take me a minute to get back to you because I'm busy, but I do get back to people in a timely manner. So
so we definitely finna make it happen, man. You're gonna continue to see Christine. Her face is gonna be out there. Her businesses are gonna be out there. You know, and then use her story today as motivation, if you will. Even for yourself, push through what you're going through.
That's what it is.
And be top tier at whatever you choose to do with your life. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Be exquisite. You know what I mean? So again, Christine, just thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. We're going to do this every month. So you're probably going to start 3 more businesses by then. So we'll definitely have more to talk about.